Welcome to the Dufferin and Banning Renewal Project Neighborhood Meeting. For information or questions about this project, please reach out to our customer service team at 1-833-428-1451 or at customerservice@synergynorth.ca.
Dufferin and Banning project has the following extents in the image below. On the north, bordering on Van Norman Street, on the south, Algoma Street and Bay Street, and then on the west, Prospect and High Street. To review some Synergy North owned assets in the three images below, on the far left, we have a meter base on the residential home or commercial building. We also have a pad mount transformer. In the center image, we have our overhead pole, as well as a pole top transformer, which is the cylinder shape floating there at the top of the pole. There are also wires. So the wires at the top of the pole and the center of the pole are generally owned by Synergy North, but anything towards the bottom is telecommunication or streetlight. So City of Thunder Bay streetlight, T-Baytel, Rogers, Shaw, and Teleco, for example. And on the far right, we have an anchor which supports our poles when the conductors are ending. So what can you expect when we're in your neighborhood? We'll begin with pole setting, and we will do more backfill than what appears necessary when we set the pole, just because it will settle in. The poles will be set using either our bucket trucks or cranes where needed. For a span of time, there will be double poles just until the telecom and streetlight are transferred to the new poles as well. Regarding outages, you will be notified approximately a week in advance of any power outages that will occur as a result of this project. And for traffic disruptions, we typically do not close the roads, but please follow all traffic rules and any signage posted at the site. Statistics for the project: there are a total of 410 services in this area. We'll be setting 142 new poles, as well as reframing or reusing 37 existing poles. We'll be installing just over 11 kilometers of new overhead line, installing 38 overhead transformers and 5 pad mount transformers. Again, just an overview of the area. So the blue shaded area, everything inside it is included in this project. We're going to be discussing 3 types of changes today. So our orange changes are new poles, anchors, or wires in a location where they do not previously exist. Blue changes are changes in underground infrastructure, so wires or duct. And our green changes are changes in existing plant, extra wires or pole shifts in our lines. So starting with our orange changes, so new poles and anchors. At the intersection of Rollins and Ambrose, we have a new pole and anchor. Similarly, at the intersection of Dufferin Street and Dixon Street, we have a new pole and anchor. Continuing with orange, at the intersection of Banning and Dufferin, we have a new pole. You'll notice at this intersection, we're removing the pole right from the corner just to increase the visibility of the vehicles at the intersection. Over on Ambrose, we have a new pole and anchor. North of Banning, we have a new anchor. And towards Waverly Street, we have a new pole and anchor as well. At the intersection of Van Norman and High Street, we have a new anchor. At the intersection of Red River Road and Hebert, just north of the law school, we have a new anchor. And at the intersection of Regent and Van Norman, we have a new pole as well. At the intersection of College and Hebert, we have a new anchor as well as a new pole and anchor on the north side of College. And at the intersection of College and Van Norman, another new pole and anchor. Onto our blue changes. So our underground work, we have some new cables going in across High Street up Beresford towards Summit. Similarly, along Rollins and into a back lane, we have some new cables. And then going to the High Street apartment building, we have some new cables coming off of Ambrose Street. At 77 College Street, we have some new duct going in, as well at 325 Van Norman Street, some new cables going in. Onto our green changes, so any changes in our existing infrastructure, we have some pole line respanning along Secord Street. and down Ambrose. At the intersection of Dufferin and Dixon, we have a pole location shift. Similarly, on Van Norman, a pole location shift. Along Van Norman between Regent and Peter, we have a few pole location shifts. And similarly, along Van Norman between College and Prospect, we have some respanning and location shifts. Again, on Van Norman, north of High Street, we have some pole location shifts. And in terms of schedule, so when you can expect to see us in the area, our surveying efforts will begin in June 2026, and our pole setting will immediately follow between June and September of 2026. You'll see a break from us, and then we'll return in January of 2027 to begin our overhead work, so installing the new overhead wires and transformers, and this is when you will see the power outages. And then the notification to our other attachers, so streetlight and telecommunication, will occur after we complete, which will be approximately in September.
Thank you for tuning in to the neighborhood meeting for the Dufferin banning project. If you have any questions about this project, please feel free to reach out to our customer service team at 1-833-428-1451 or at customerservice@synergynorth.ca.